الله صح نعم maybe Android AI perhaps. To whom we're going to speak. People who's here. They say angels and jinns is here also. To believe. شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو وملائكته وأولو العلم قائما بالقسط. Prophet and his and angels and ulul ilmi, those with ilm. What's ilm? Try to decide to understand what's ilm. Say knowledge. It's English translation. Ilm lights. I was trying to Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. بحقي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بقوتي بسم الله بسيري بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبأيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم with the help of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, with the help of our Shaykh, we're trying to understand something. We're trying to receive, all of us, to receive something, an understanding, more than what we had before. We come to suhba and zikr. You can come locked up and just repeat the same things over and over again. We have our drum, we have our lights, we have everything. But we can try to move forward, go up. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he wasn't asking to create a nation of robots. They're trying now, governments, they say deep state actors, to make a army of robots, AI warriors, either to graft onto people, to make boards. So in Star Trek, you will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. Okay. Make armies of robots. That's the idea. People after dunya power, to be empowered in this world, they like to have armies of obedient robots, to follow them, to support them. You stand up. Yes, you're the best. MashaAllah. Until you reach the grave. Then finished. What happened to your army of robots? To support you to the grave? Can't be. Go alone. Whatever demons you were able to acquire in this life to haunt and torture you in the grave. They say from your desires it created a zombie for understanding, to be with you in the grave so close. You wish to be away from it as much as possible. So don't you know me? What? Who are you? You were always asking to be with me in your life. Now we'll be together forever. Something created from our own shahwa. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he wasn't asking to make a ummah or a army of robots to follow like machines. He was asking to raise humanity to the highest stations in the divine presence. In kuntum tuhibun Allah, fattabi'uni. You want to be loved by Allah, follow me. He didn't mean only follow to be a robot, pray when I prayed. Yes, you have to do everything. He did it all his life. Mullah Shaykh did it all his life. You have to make wudu and pray and fast and do everything. But if you stay the same, so your understanding and attitudes is going around in circles. They have, in Florida or Las Vegas, they have the dog races, greyhounds, racing dogs. The dogs are behind the fence. You can go there, I saw it on TV. In front of the dogs, there's a mechanical rabbit or fox, something the dog likes to chase it. They raise the gates, and that mechanical dog rabbit goes running, and the dogs go running after. This is our example. Around and around the track. And then you pull up the machine, lifts up the rabbit. Where's the dog? Where does it go? Prophet wants us to go to divine presence, to unknown worlds. They say to endless happiness. What's paradise? The opposite of this life. Everything in this life has a downside to it. You're happy and then you're depressed. You have a success, then you have bad luck. You have love, you have separation. You have good taste, you have poor. Nothing in this life is, you can't say anything, endless happiness. Always come. It's part of life. To teach us this is not the target. He's saying go for one word, continuous happiness forever. What's that? He said, follow me. Allah will love you. Allah's love is an endless, increasing happiness that no one can describe. And he was asking his nation to follow after him. And his inheritors or his deputies that tried their best along their lives to follow that way, awliya Allah, they were asking and trying their best for their followers or their students or their murids or what you want to say, to raise them up, not to be on the same, not to be robots. But we insist to be robots. I'm watching a movie about a cult. What's a cult? Cult? Robots. They think they're following some high principle, but they're not. They're following like robots. They made themselves like machines. And there's no life, no life. They fight with each other. Who's going to be chief? Who's going to be boss? Who's going to do what I say? Do what I do? There's cults. Who's trying to take away what I have? They're not looking up. Prophet wasn't trying to make a cult. Sheikhs were not trying to make cults. Sheikh Nazim used to say, I hate, he never used the word hate. I hate to be famous. I hate. If I wasn't ordered to gather people, you couldn't find me. He said, the jungle is okay for me, the mountains are okay for me, the desert is okay, the ocean is okay, the forest is okay for Sheikh Nazim. He didn't like it. When people were making their cult behavior, I've seen it, only they do. There used to be some people, every time the Sheikh would speak, they, oh, Haqqaq, Ya Muhammad Nazim, Hakani, Mahdi, Rasulullah, three of them would get up in unison, or four of them. We've seen many things like that with the Sheikh. everyone with their different banners, with their different something. He came out from the mosque one time in London to the car. I was waiting for the car. I would like to escape. I said, he's got to come here, so I'll wait here. He's saying under his breath. Everyone making an exhibition, people laughing to us. He wasn't happy. It wasn't a happy la. It means they missed the main point. And they made the sheikh to look like a cult person, a silly person. Oh, they were trying to get their followers to find something real through their hearts. I said something the other day that I remembered from translations of Ibn Arabi. One chapter was called Seeing with Two Eyes. See with two eyes. I stopped. I tried to find some more about that. So Dr. Chiddick translated some parts of the Cultivate Nakia. Two eyes. One eye, the eye of the mind. You know what to do. Like the cult person, you can follow, you can do everything. The other eye, the eye of the heart. You can't do it yourself. It has to be open for you. You have to get to it. You have to reach it. It has to be granted. To see things as they really are, to see all of us through everything. To see real. You're still praying and doing, but it's not the same praying as a cult person. Look at me, I'm praying. You know the story. One person, he's in Sajda, long Sajda, half hour, 45 minutes, and his family is sitting. Oh, Uncle so and so. He prays Fajr with the wudu of Isha. He goes to Hajj every year, maybe 10 times a year. He fasts day and night. He didn't break his fast for 40. No, he does this, he does that. He gave all his money in charity. And they're quiet. They can't think of things to praise. He stays in Sijda. So you forgot to say that I'm fasting. It means it's not Sijda. It's not praying. It's not fasting. Look at me, I'm fasting. Look at me, I'm praying. Look at me, I'm making zikr. Look, I'm making halwa. Look, I'm making something. What look? Allah is looking. He doesn't know. Allah is looking. Quran says, do they think no one sees them? Allah sees us here. When the eye of our heart is going to open to look back, to see Him. There's no one but He. We know that from reading books. We remember that when we're angry. Remember that when we're something up. We forgot. Allah is trying to get us to go more, to be with reality. I have to ask. Dr. Chiddick, he was from a talk he gave. At the end, he said, keep knocking on the door. What can we do? Ustaz Bulgani say, yeah, you have to go to the Muraqabah, you have to do. Everybody say you have to, at some point, you have to go alone to your Lord and ask that door to open. Finally, you're going to be alone. We do our activities in a group, and you have to keep that. I'm not one of those who say, okay, it's finished, now don't pray anymore, don't do anymore. No, you have to keep it. Prophet was keeping, Mawlana Shaykh was keeping. Regardless of what station he reached, he still kept everything. But the inward has to change. That you have to find, and I have to find. It's a target to be reached. to go by yourself alone. No one sees you, but he sees you. By any means, no one can tell you what to do. Some say hold your breath, some say watch your breath, some say sit like this, some say sit like this, some say sit like this, some say cross legs, some say this way, some go to him. Go and sit sometimes only for hours. Oh my. Sometimes with zikr, sometimes without. With nothing. We read from Nefari, Abdul Jabbar Nefari. He wrote suhba, muwaqif, stopping points on the journey. We pause. He's given what he needs to reach the next stage of his journey. When he reached, they come to something, a plateau or a stopping place, he stops. Waits for the new instruction. Now he's waiting to what comes to him. He's reciting what he needs to get there, and then now the voice comes. Now don't say anything. You can't invoke me. You can't be only different situation. To try to be knocking at the door. One of Shaykh Nazir say, wait at the door. Who waits at the door of his Lord? One day the door opens, either he or she is given something or taken inside. No one can tell you how to do that. Each one has to come by himself with what Allah gave him. The Lord knows what he created. Does he not know what he created? Oh my Lord, you created me. I'm coming to your door with nothing. Sometimes only like that, without anything. Or you can recite, like me, so many duas, Barhatiyah, Jufaniya, Jufaniya. But finally, you come empty. What you're going to say in the grave? No more words. No more. May He grant us the eyes of our hearts and the ears of our hearts. The Quran says it's not the eyes in your head that's blind, it's the eyes in your heart that's blind. It's not the ears in your head that's deaf, it's the ears in your heart that's deaf. Ask Him to open. This is the month of Zulqa'dah. We saw the new moon, maybe third night tonight. Second or third night is pretty high in the sky tonight. The month of seclusion. Try to find a time. He said after Asr, before Maghrib, as the sun is going down, after Maghrib, before Isha, this time, or after midnight, or in the last third of the night, when the Hadith says Allah is descending to the lowest heaven to see who is calling on Him, who is sitting, who is at the door waiting. Mawlana Shaykh gave one technique to say, Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, in a low voice, 100 up to 1,000 times. Even then you finish 1,000. Allah say, call on me, and then listen to my, you know that ayah? Call on me, and then listen to my response. No one listening to the response. We're like somebody calling, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, okay, I'm here, what? Hello, hello. Like that. We forgot the target. We don't remember ourselves. I'm calling on you, oh my Lord. I'm calling on you. Here I am. I'm calling on you. I am. What about me? Allah took the beads out of my hand, shook in my face. It's not important to say how important to be with you. He said I was not with him, sitting with my Shaykh and not caring and making him pious exercise. I was sitting one time making important liquor, whatever I was reciting. Hashem came to the door, ready to go. Now we have to go out. There was an errand, something to do. I said, what? Who are you calling on? They ought to make us to wake up a little bit, and the speaker especially. We're trying to say something that can't be said. Aulia wrote books trying to explain something. Finally, something has to come to the person. But if we're not available for it, Allah grant us to keep some parts of this holy book. Sometime, like horses running or racers running, sometime waiting. Two legs. Sometime running, sometime waiting the door. Party. This is the one that Inayah comes during this month. Inspirations come, openings come to those who are waiting. Well, won't be like those people, they never think about it until something happens. Go, he said, go to the hospital, visit the prison, visit the cemetery. People weren't thinking anything until they were forced to think. Something happened. Then die before you die, is the hadith. It means also be ready before you're forced to be ready. Before you're called to account, before you're put in a situation where, oh, now you remember me. In hospital, in prison, you have to keep it away from them. غير المغضوب عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. Those who forgot their Lord, He forgot them. What could be more maghdubi than that? Now I'm not making sense. Imam Ahmed Buni, لا تجعلنا ضالين ولا مضلين. Don't make me to be misguided or to misguide others. I ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and from Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. ولو أنهم إذ ظلموا أنفسهم جاءوك واستغفر لهم الرسول لوجدوا الله توابا. Forgive us, forgive me, bless everyone, grant us the blessings of this holy month and this holy night, that our minds can understand and that our hearts can understand. Grant us to be some time for Him. Everyone has so many issues, so many problems, so many things keeping them, isn't it? All day long is something. If nothing else, we have these devices also to make us busy. Leave it for some time. And he used to say, shut it off. No one could shut it off anymore. It took over. But give some time. Give some time. Give some time. I'm saying to myself also, give some time. Fatih. Amen. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد